Hello, everybody!
Just like two random girls, I'm gonna be talking to you guys.
Shoes.
Woo!
Yay!
This is going really well so far.
See you on the flip side.
We don't care. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing, alright?
Oops, my bad.
That's big now.
Because I curse like a sailor.
Like a trucker. We got some
We got a lot.
stories.
We got a lot.
The theater.
She my man friend. Woo-woo! What?
Temporary technical difficulties. A little piece of my soul dies every time I think about inappropriate content coming your way.
Quarantine edition.
Before we get into today's episode, as we've been posting on our social media, today's show, Promises, does deal with the topic of suicide. So we just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time, this is the trigger warning for that. Feel free to skip this week's episode if you don't feel like you can listen and watch. It is discussed briefly a few times throughout, not too much detail. So thank you in advance.
Promises, I'm all through with promises now. I don't know how.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to A View from the Mez, a chat with Broadway babes. I'm Gina.
And I'm Tracy.
And this week we are going to be talking about the 2010 Broadway revival of the musical Promises. We'll be focusing on the revival, but we will give a little bit of detail about the original production because that's part of the show's history. But also we have a special guest today, Vicky Chalk, who was lucky enough to see both the original production and the 2010 Broadway revival. So she'll be with us later on to discuss that.
So jealous.
Me too.
So, let's just get right into it, shall we?
We shall.
The original Broadway production ran from 1968 to 1972. So, after a tryout in Washington, D.C., the show premiered on Broadway at the Shubert Theater on December 1st of 1968. And then it closed on January 1st of 1972 after playing 1,281 performances. It was directed by Robert Monroe and choreographed by Michael Bennett and Bob Avian as the assistant choreographer. The cast featured Jerry Orbach as Chuck Baxter, Jill O'Hara as Fran Kubelik, and Edward Winter as J.D. Sheldrake, who was her boss. In the ensemble was featured Kelly Bishop, and there was also a national tour that performed and traveled throughout the United States in the early 70s, and that starred Tony Roberts, who recreated the role of Chuck Baxter, Melissa Hart, who played Fran, and Bob Holliday, who played Sheldrake. Judy Garland's daughter, Lorna Luft, played Fran Kubelik on Broadway from October of 1971 to January of 1972. And there was also a second national tour that happened after that. I love Lorna Luft.
Me too.
I saw her in White Christmas off Broadway.
I wish I would have seen that. I wish I would have seen her.
Shoot.
So we are going to be talking, as we said, about the Broadway revival, which ran from 2010 to 2011. So a reading for this revival of the musical was held in October of 2008 with Sean Hayes, but also Anne Hathaway. Super random, but okay. The revival, obviously, we all know that she wasn't in the revival. Anne Hathaway was not in the revival. Either way, the revival opened up on Broadway at the Broadway Theater on April 25th, 2010, after previews starting on March 27th. Directed and choreographed by Rob Ashford, the revival starred Sean Hayes, Kristen Chenoweth, Brooks Ashmanskas,
Ashmanskas.
Katie Finneran, and Tony Goldwyn. The Bacharach David songs, I Say a Little Prayer, a 1967 million-selling hit written for Dionne Warwick, and A House Is Not a Home, love that one, were added to the score. Due to pregnancy, Katie Finneran departed the role of Marge on October 10th, 2010, and was replaced by Saturday Night Live veteran Molly Shannon. I had no clue. Hayes, Chenoweth, and Shannon remained with the production until its closing on January 2nd, 2011. The show had 291 performances and 30 previews. It closed pretty quickly.
I saw it twice during that revival period. I don't know. I liked it, but
to each his own.
Loved it a lot, but I loved it a lot. Like, I remember after I saw it the first time, getting the album and just listening to it over and over and over again. Now, kids, this was before the iTunes.
Well, we had to
we actually bought like CDs and stuff and had to listen to them on our boomboxes.
Or our like portable CD players that would skip as we would like run.
Oh my God. Wait, do you remember those? I think I had at least 6.
Oh, I
they kept breaking.
So many CDs, like, because I'm holding it, walking, and it's like bouncing. And it's like, yeah. Anyway.
Good times. Good times.
Anyway, we're old, so.
We just aged ourselves. Oh, good. The Discman. That's what they were called. The Discman.
Yes.
But anyway, other productions included the regional theater productions have included a 1993 staging at the Goodspeed Opera House in Connecticut. New York City Center Encores held a staged concert in March of 97 starring Martin Short, Terry O'Malley, Eugene Levy, Dick Latessa, and Christine Baranski. Holy shit! Holy shit! Dick Latessa, he was in the show. Dick Latessa. He played the older man.
Yes.
With my glasses on the top of your head, that guy.
So, the storyline of the show, in Act 1, Chuck Baxter, who was played in the revival by Sean Hayes,
the love of my life,
he is an ambitious bachelor and junior executive for a large insurance company, Consolidated Life. He expresses his frustrations and hopes for career advancement. To gain favor with the higher-ups in the company, he allows his apartment to be used for the higher-ups' romantic trysts with their mistresses, because these dudes are totally married.
They're shady.
In return for promises of promotion. Promises! Chuck has his eye set on Fran Kublik, a waitress in the company cafeteria whom he's always admired from a distance. While talking together, she wonders if she will ever find someone to share her life with. Chuck hopes that she might notice him and want to share her life with him.
And they sing, "You'll think of someone."
Yeah.
You'll think of someone. I could take up knitting. I can't, So, J.D. Sheldrake, who is the company's powerful personnel director, he notices the glowing reviews that are being written by Chuck's superiors, and he deduces the reason for them. He requests sole use of the apartment for his affairs in exchange for Chuck's long-awaited promotion and tickets to a basketball game. In the 2010 revival, the song I Say a Little Prayer for You was added for a scene where Fran tells her female workmates about flowers that she received from a new mystery individual. But Chuck asks Fran to attend the basketball game with him, and she agrees to meet him there after first having a drink with her soon-to-be ex-lover. And then Chuck excitedly sings "She Likes Basketball," and I love that song.
Me too.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
He's
And like
adorable when he sings
Sean
that.
Hayes is just like he plays that role so well.
He does. She likes basketball. Isn't that wild?
Oh boy.
I love when he sings, who would have ever thought that my favorite girl liked my favorite sport? I'm like, oh my god.
Yes. I loved that part.
Mhm.
So many good songs. I just want to start singing.
Yeah. So, anywho, Fran's lover turns out to be the married Sheldrake. Fran wants to end the relationship, but Sheldrake talks her into spending the evening with him. Though Fran stands him up at the basketball game, Chuck forgives her. When he informs the other executives that his apartment is no longer available for their use, they express their dismay. And they're trying to figure out ways of, where can I take my girlfriend? Because I can't take her home because my wife is there.
And they sing that song, "Where Can You Take a Girl?"
Yeah, for a drink or to have a little fun, as they say in the song. And they try to name,
A boat.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember other places that they say that they can take her. It's just a very weird song.
It's, just anywhere to get the deed done so then they can go back home to their wives who are nagging them and then they're good. So anyway, meanwhile, Sheldrake wonders why he is drawn to affairs. The scene then shifts to the company Christmas party where everyone is enjoying themselves. Miss Olson, Sheldrake's secretary, reveals to Fran, who knows that she can't really be with her boss, but does love him, and she's trying to get out of the relationship because she knows it's not healthy, but knows she'll never get him because he's not going to leave his wife. She reveals to Fran that Fran is just the new flavor of the week, and she is in a long line of Sheldrake's mistresses. And the first act curtain falls as Fran is driven to misery, where she sings "A House Is Not a Home," which, like Tracy mentioned before, was added for the 2010 revival. And Chuck discovers that Fran is the one that Sheldrake has been taking to his apartment.
And mind you, the curtain fell at the end of Act 1, and I was then sobbing after she sang that song because Kristen Chenoweth just has this voice, and the notes that she hits in that song, they go right through you, and they give you goosebumps.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. So we pick up in Act 2, and Chuck, who is really feeling hopeless after finding out that it's Fran that Sheldrake wants to take to his apartment, he's spending Christmas Eve trying to drink away his troubles at a bar, and he meets another tipsy, lonely heart, Marge McDougal, who agrees to come back to his apartment. In the meantime, at Chuck's apartment, Fran is confronting Sheldrake about his earlier affairs with other women. While he does admit to the affairs, he declares his love for Fran, but tells her that he must leave in order to catch his train home to spend Christmas Eve with his family. A despairing Fran discovers Chuck's sleeping pills and takes the entire bottle.
Yes, she does.
We also forgot to say that at the bar, when Chuck meets Marge, they sing one of our favorite songs. A fact can be a beautiful thing.
I love doing the duet with you to that song.
Oh my god.
I love it's been so long, and the laugh. I don't even know if I have that laugh in me anymore. We're
What
gonna
was
have
it?
to try.
You can really make my day.
I could play a good
Oh, the
song.
laugh. The laugh.
Yeah.
I remember it now. In the the just like the instrumental at the like almost end of the song when
Yep.
they're going like, oh, oh.
It's been so long. We have to do that one again soon.
Oh my God, yes. We have so many songs we have to dance to. We just need to have dance party.
Yeah.
COVID, can you like Amscray, please? Thanks.
Amscray, we got a karaoke party to get to. So anyway, so we have this fun moment of them in the bar, super drunk, and he tries to take this woman back to his apartment because he's like, the love of my life is not interested in me. She's, and he goes back to his apartment. And when Chuck arrives with Marge, he discovers Fran on his bed after she just downed the whole bottle of sleeping pills. And after quickly disposing of Marge, he frantically goes and runs to his neighbor, Dr. Dreyfus, to make him come over, and together the two of them save Fran's life. The next morning, Chuck calls Sheldrake to let him know what happened. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Sheldrake says he can't leave for the city without his wife knowing and asks Chuck if he'll just take care of Fran. Over the next few days, exactly. Over the next few days, Chuck and Dreyfus try to keep Fran's spirits up to prevent a relapse into suicidal behavior.
I was so mad at him at that point.
He is like one of like the worst villains in musical theater.
Yep. The worst. So anyway.
Like literally, she, is in love with him. He's saying that, he
loves her too.
Yeah, she knows he's married. Wrong right out the get-go. But he's like leading her on, like, I love you. Meanwhile, she finds out he's got all these other women. She tries to kill herself over him. And he's like, it's Christmas. I'm with my wife. You could take care of her. And then continue. Because I'll go on and on forever and ever. Deep breaths, deep breaths.
All right. So Chuck and Fran are just hanging out together and they're playing gin rummy and they're discussing their problems and they're just forming a relationship. They're getting closer. Mr. Kirkaby, who is one of Chuck's former clients, discovers that Fran has been staying at Chuck's apartment. So as revenge for cutting him and the others off from using the apartment, he tells Fran's overly protective brother where she has been staying. So Carl Kubelik then comes to the apartment to collect her, and he thinks that Chuck is the cause of her current state, and he punches him.
Miss Olsen soon discovers that Sheldrake's actions led to Fran almost killing herself. She quits her job and tells Mrs. Sheldrake all about her husband's affairs. You go, Miss Olsen!
Yes!
His wife leaves him, resulting in his desperation to woo Fran back, because, I don't have her, so now let me have you. This is not how that works, okay? Okay, okay. Sheldrake asks for the keys to Chuck's apartment again on New Year's Eve to take Fran there. Chuck refuses. You go, Chuck! And quits his job rather than allow Sheldrake to take Fran back to his apartment ever again. Deciding that he has to get away, Chuck begins packing to move elsewhere when Fran comes to see him. Sheldrake had told her that Chuck had refused him access to his apartment and quit his job, and she realizes, ding, 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 finally, that Chuck is the one who really loves her. As they resume their earlier game of gin, Chuck declares his love for Fran, to which she replies, shut up and deal. I love it. I love it.
Love. And they sing I'll Never Fall in Love Again.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
That's like my favorite duet in the whole show.
That's the rebride.
Yeah.
I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Sean Hayes, who I love, was nominated for a Tony for Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Musical Katie Finneran, who played the drunk but hysterical Marge, won for Best Performance by a Featured Actress in a Musical. The show was also nominated for Tonys for Best Choreography and Best Orchestrations.
The show was also nominated for a few Drama Desk Awards that included Outstanding Revival of a Musical and Outstanding Design, but only Katie Finneran won for Outstanding Feature Actress in a Musical. And it was also nominated for a few Outer Critics Circle Awards. But again, only Katie Finneran won for Outstanding Featured Actress.
The show won a Grammy in 2011 for Best Musical Show Album. With all of these nominations and a few wins, there was not one nomination for Kristen Chenoweth.
Our poor
Not
girl.
one.
Not one. I thought
Not
she was
one.
phenomenal.
Hello. Not one. Not one. I can't.
It's a shame.
Some of the songs in the show are Promises, Promises, A Fact Can Be a Beautiful Thing, which is sung by Chuck and Marge in the bar when they are beyond drunk. I'll Never Fall in Love Again. She Likes Basketball. A House Is Not a Home. I Say a Little Prayer. And that's only naming a few. There are so many others. So many. So unfortunately,
reviews were not that great for this revival. Steven Suskin of Variety said, "Show doesn't play anywhere near as well as it once did." Frank Scheck of The Hollywood Reporter described it as empty. And Ben Brantley of the New York Times did not like it all that much. He pretty much alluded to the fact that it was outdated, boring, and the cast seemed tired. However, he did mention how much he loved Katie Finneran and Sean Hayes, stating, "Doing the freshest variations I've seen in years on over-the-top, diluted drunkenness, Miss Finneran and Mr. Hayes turned their single shared number, A Fact Can Be a Beautiful Thing, into a showstopper you wish would never end. Miss Finneran is on view for only, say, a quarter of an hour. I can't be sure exactly because it's true that time not only flies but also stretches deliciously when you're having fun. That means that once Miss Finneran exits, it's all too easy to count the remaining minutes."
Ouch.
Ooh, Ben!
Ow!
Ow!
Oh, I feel the burn. I feel the burn.
So as I mentioned before, we have actress Vicky Chalk joining us today to discuss the fact that she has been lucky enough to see both the original production of Promises, Promises, as well as the 2010 revival. So here she is, and please give a warm welcome to Vicky Chalk. So Vicky Chalk is here with us, and I met Vicky at Nutley Little Theater in Nutley, New Jersey, and she's here with us today to discuss how she has seen multiple productions of Promises, Promises, both the original as well as the 2010 Broadway revival. So Vicky, thank you for being with us, and if you would, could you please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me on. I have been interested in theater forever, and I got involved in being on stage when I was in the local cast of an international group called Up With People, and the local cast was called Sing Out Nutley, and we got to travel all over and perform throughout the New York metropolitan area. So that just made me realize how much fun it is to be on stage. Concurrently, Nutley was offering the opportunity to do town musicals. So when I was about a senior in high school, I started to audition for those and got into quite a few of them. Subsequently became a theater major at William Patterson and joined Nutley Little Theater when I was a senior in high school. So that's 51 years ago. And I just love performing, and I then got into directing because I took a directing class at William Patterson. And I alternate whether I want to be on stage and only responsible for that one little part, or be in charge, not have to memorize any lines, but everything falls to you when you're the director, of course. So in the meantime, I was attending Broadway shows, and probably about the end of high school, beginning of college, started to go pretty often to see as many shows as I could. Being in Nutley was perfect for that. And the price I paid for tickets is unbelievably low. In fact, on one of the playbills that I found for Promises, Promises, I paid $3.75 to sit in the balcony.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, the tax on a ticket now is way more than that. So, so I was able to go in. I would cut my theater classes at William Patterson to go in and see shows. But I figured since I was a theater major, that was okay. So
that sounds okay to me.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I've just always been involved and interested in theater.
That's wonderful. So you had mentioned that you had the opportunity to see Promises, Promises when it was originally on Broadway, twice, as well as the 2010 Broadway revival. So could you tell us a little bit about all of those experiences?
Sure. Let me put my glasses on so I can read what I bookmarked. I have quite a few of these playbill binders that keep the playbills handy. They're even better now. I've got a couple that I need to fill, where you just slide the playbill into a clear sleeve. But I saw Promises, Promises with Jean Rupert, whose name doesn't ring any bells to me now, and Jenny O'Hara. Jenny, I believe, is the sister of Jill O'Hara, who originated the role of Fran. So this is what the playbill cover looked like back in the day.
Wow.
The odd thing is that I went on March 9th of 71 to see it. And then I went again the next month, the end of the next month, to see it again.
Oh, you must have loved it.
I loved it. And I think why I did that was because Tony Roberts took over the role of Chuck. And I love Tony Roberts. I don't know if you recognize that name. He was in a lot of Woody Allen's movies.
Sounds
And
familiar.
Yes.
He did quite a bit on Broadway, and I saw him in quite a few different things. But I think that might be what drew me back to it, because I believe it closed like the following December or early 72. So maybe I knew it was going to close, and I wanted to be sure to see him. I'm guessing that's why I went. But I went, like 1 month after the other. I'm just looking to see if I can find the ticket stub, because what I do is I usually put the ticket stub in the playbill, and then I write down who I went and saw it with.
That is really nice. I like that idea.
Yeah, I used to do that with movies too, so that I could say, I wonder, about a certain movie or a play, and I can look and see who I went with, so I can ask them questions. But I don't know if you can see that, but there it is, 375. Some kind of special.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm amazed. So, but I just loved the show. I love Bacharach and David. Their music was just spectacular. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is that in the revival, they added 2 songs. Here's the revival one. They added I Say a Little Prayer.
Yes.
Was Bacharach and David. And another one, A House Is Not a Home. They added that to this, the original production. I even have the thing. Sometimes I'm really organized to the point where it's ludicrous. But there's the flyer that came to order tickets. And then I wrote down where I was sitting and how much it would be. My sister and I went. How much it would be for each of us.
I love it. That's great.
Don't ask me anything important, but I've got stuff like this. Yeah, so I obviously, because my sister loved it too, and she thinks she saw it with me when I saw Tony Roberts do it. I didn't write her name down for some reason, but
Right.
I talked to her today to see what she remembered about it, and she said she remembered thinking it was kind of dated when we saw it, the revival,
Mhm.
because it's like not a big deal now, I guess, for married men to have girlfriends.
Yeah.
So it was kind of shocking back in '68, I believe
Mhm.
it started. I think Jerry Orbach was in it. I think it started in '68, and so to have these trysts going on was kind of scandalous back in that time.
Very much so. A lot of the reviews for the 2010 revival were not good because a lot of them said how outdated it was.
Yeah, yeah, but you can't beat that music. And Kristen Chenoweth was just delightful, and
I love her.
I love Sean Hayes, so
Yes.
um, it was well worth seeing again. It was a trip down memory lane to hear all those songs again.
Oh, that must have been wonderful. And I don't understand how Kristen Chenoweth was not nominated for anything.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
I also have a cassette of the Broadway cast, the original Broadway cast with Jerry Orbach. That's somewhere.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Just a great show.
Yeah. Yeah, Tracy and I didn't know what to expect when we walked into it. And we just knew that we loved Kristen and we loved Sean. So we were like, it's gonna be a great
How
time.
bad could it be?
And yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we absolutely adored it. But then there is that darker part of it where, the suicide attempt and
Yeah. She was also remembering, as did I, that the woman who played Marge originally was a show unto herself. When I saw the revival, we were both disappointed. Whoever did it did a fine job, but the original woman who did it was just spectacular. Her nuanced performance was. I remember watching her as a good character study because she was kind of really pathetic. You really felt sorry for her because she was just a barfly, and I missed that when I saw the revival. But
wow, that is so interesting because so the woman who played it in the Broadway revival was Katie Finneran, and she is the only person that won any of the awards that she was nominated for. I'm
that's
like,
right.
oh, nobody.
That's right. Yes. So
That's interesting. I wish I would have seen the original actress.
I could look up and see who it was. Hang on one second.
Sure thing. Yeah, that's
March.
so interesting that you say that. And then she ended up getting pregnant, and
Yes.
Molly Shannon took over the role for
Molly
her.
Shannon. Yes, I read that. Yeah.
Which I didn't even know. One of our fans commented on our Instagram today. She was like, I saw it with Molly Shannon. I had no idea she took over that part.
Oh,
Yeah.
either.
Now, I'm not saying her name, but whoever you are. It was great. Yeah, I don't see her name in the kisses.
That's interesting.
But
My goodness.
definitely a show worth seeing again. But I think it probably won't get done as much as it might because it is kind of dated.
Yes, definitely. As I said, the reviews for 2010 were not good, which is why it did not live very long.
Yeah, it's too bad. I hate to see that kind of talent wasted.
Yeah.
They're both so good. I don't remember when I saw Sean. I remember thinking, "Wow, he can sing and dance." I guess I'd seen him in just regular roles without any music, and I didn't realize how good he is. He's a hoofer.
So talented.
Yeah.
Trey, do you have any questions for Vicky?
No, I think we covered everything. Vicky, oh wait, I do have one. Did you have a favorite song from the musical?
I do love Whoever You Are. It's just such a great ballad. It's hard to sing, but I think I used it once for an audition and did it a cappella.
Wow.
I probably didn't do it any justice, but I just think that's just tugs at your heartstrings.
Definitely.
It is.
She knew she could not have this guy, her boss. He was not going to leave his wife, but I just thought it was kind of a really good insight to how tough it must be to be in that position.
Yeah. Oh my
It
God.
is.
Such a heartbreaking song.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful, though.
Yeah.
Song.
I was listening to the soundtrack, and after her suicide attempt, when they're trying to like pick her back up and make her feel better, I was listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, this definitely would not hold up today, because she tried to end her life, and these two guys are like, put on some lipstick and blush, you'll feel better. Pat her
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
Yeah, they kind of missed the point.
But it's like, back then it worked, and now it is like, ooh, that's not gonna fly.
No. No, but I'm trying to remember now who wrote the book. It was true to the time, but
Yes.
that's part of what makes it kind of dated.
Yeah,
Still
definitely.
a good show.
I think one of the reviews said doesn't work as well as it used to, or something like that.
Yeah.
The shame.
When it was, I believe it premiered at about 68, and it was perfect for that time, and it ran a few years, so
Mhm.
I can see why they decided to do it again, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hold up as well as it might.
No.
But the music does.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Burt Bacharach, wonderful.
Can't beat them. Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I guess not. I think we covered everything.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming on. That's wonderful that, you reached out, and I was like, oh my God, she's seen both productions. This is so cool. We got to get her insight.
Yeah. Well, I hope it was worth something to you, but
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I when I talked to my sister, I said, we saw it like 47 years ago. I can't believe that much time has gone by.
Wow.
It's just incredible. I keep losing track of time. And when I called her, I said, do you realize how long, how long ago it was we saw it? She said, well, now that you put it that way, I was going to guess 4 or 5 years, but since you said it that way, 7? And I went, no, try 10. She said, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy.
It happens. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Got that right.
Well, good luck with the program. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining us. We truly
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
Anytime
Yeah.
I've seen something, if you post what you're going to talk about, I'll let you know if I've seen it and if I could add anything to it.
That's wonderful. We would love that. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Have a good night, ladies.
Bye.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for joining us. As I said before, when we were talking to Vicky, listening to the lyrics recently, I realized a lot of those lyrics don't fly today. So I could kind of see why, back in 2010, they didn't really fly that well either. But, that's how the world worked back then.
It was a very different place back then.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, like I loved the show. But like you said, there was a lot of outdated themes in the songs and just the plot itself that you can understand. Like we were young when we saw the show, so like did we think about it then? Probably not.
No.
But looking back on it now and listening to the lyrics now, we're like, oh, that's not right. No, thank you, sir. Like the whole song about where can you take a girl? I was like, oh, yeah, wow, bunch of cheaters.
Like, at the time, we thought it was funny.
Right,
But
like, we were laughing.
I'm like, that's not cool. But we knew at that time Sheldrake was an asshole. Like, because
Yes.
he left her like that and then was like, no, you handle it. I'm having Christmas Eve with my wife. She almost just killed herself over you. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, my wife left me. Let me come over here now. Let's have a night together on New Year's Eve. No!
No. Oh, no. Absolutely not. No, thank you, sir. Mm-mm. See your way out.
You could have several seats, thanks. Okay.
So, I think I don't know if I have an absolute favorite moment.
I have a few. If you have a few, it's okay.
I have a few favorite moments. Like, I love when Kristen Chenoweth sings "I Say a Little Prayer" with the other women from the cafeteria, and they just dance, and they have on like these gorgeous outfits, and I'm just like, yes, I love this. And then move on to like when she's talking to Chuck and she's like, oh, will I ever find someone? And he sings You'll Think of Someone, and they sing together, and they're like, you'll find someone who likes you and likes the things that you like to do. And I was just like, oh, love.
And I love when he's like like, how about someone like, well, you'll think of someone. Like, he's trying to like say it's him, but
Yep. And he says it at the end of the song. He's like, when you find the someone you think it should be, like, how about me? I'm like, oh, he loves her. But then there's like so many points in this show where I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I loved when she sang A House Is Not a Home. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, it was a really down point for her, but it was just such, like, that song just like glued you to your seat.
Yes.
Because it was just so raw and emotional, and you literally wanted to like go rescue her.
Yeah.
And then in the second act, it has to be A Fact Can Be a Beautiful Thing, where Marge and Chuck are drunk. And when I say drunk, I mean like spinning on bar stools, like back and forth. Like Gina and I used to do the dance and just like singing to each other and like being complete like idiot. Crazy people. Kind of like when Gina and I get together, that's kind of how we act.
That's exactly how we act.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's exactly how we act. But I think my ultimate favorite parts are like the when Dreyfus and Chuck find her and they're like singing to her, and then when it goes into them playing rummy, and then the ending where they sing the I'll Never Fall in Love Again reprise, and he's like, I don't remember if he says I love you.
He says, Miss Kublik.
Oh yes.
I love you, Miss Kublik.
I love you, Miss Kublik. And she's like, shut up and deal.
Yeah, you'll have to speak louder. And he goes,
he's like, I love you, Miss
Kublik.
You. And she just looks at him, she's like, shut up and deal.
Yes.
And it goes black. And I was just like, oh my God.
I love it. That's actually, that moment is one of my favorite, because he like declares his love for her, but she's been through so much and she knows that he is a good guy and like she can count on him, and she does figure out that she loves him too, but she's just been through so much shit that she's not gonna like jump in and say it back. So it was kind of like, it was a moment where they both like understood, like, there's love here, but let's take it slow, because I almost just tried to kill myself. And yeah, but
ouchie, harsh shit.
I know, but it's so true though, because it's not like, you know, she's not going to give that up that easily after she got burned so bad. But I love the part where he sings, "She likes basketball."
Yes.
I think
She
it's so cute.
basketball. How about that?
Because he's like so excited that he loves basketball so much, and then she loves basketball so much, and he's like all excited that they have that in common. And then I think one of my other favorite moments, obviously, is like our song, "A Fact Can Be a Beautiful Thing." But then the moment that really like gets to me and is like one of my favorite moments is like it's one of the like the most beautiful moments in the show is when right after she downs the whole bottle of pills and passes out on the bed to, in the suicide attempt, the song "Christmas Day" plays. That transitions into Sean. That transitions into Chuck finding her unconscious on her bed, and he goes and gets her help from the doctor. But then he stays with her, and like as she's like unconscious, and they're trying to like bring her back to life, and he's singing next to her bed, a house, and he's singing next to his bed, "A House Is Not a Home" reprise. I love that when he's singing "A House Is Not a Home" reprise. And
I forgot about that.
It is the most heart-wrenching rendition of the songs because she's like, she just tried to kill herself. And,
you're killing me.
Yeah. That's like, Trey, I think it's that time in our episode where you need to pick our next show.
Oh, is it?
It is.
I've got the golden hat. The golden hat. The golden hat. All right, here we go. Look at all these freaking shows in here, girl.
A lot.
All right. Close my eyes so no one can say nothing. Huh.
You crazy.
I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm finished. Finished.
Why?
Okay. So, I don't want to just give it away so easily because I could probably get you to guess it with one name, but I don't want to do that.
But why not? You make it so much easier for me.
Suck it up. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Donna.
Mamma Mia.
Yes. Mamma Mia.
Woo!
Whoa.
I cannot wait, girl. We're going to be having boas and shit. I'm excited.
Wait, do you have a boa?
No.
I have two. I will be dropping one at your house.
Pass it on over here.
I have two, but they're in my old room. I will get them. All right, guys. Our next show, which will be Mamma Mia, will air on the 15th. We're going on another 1 week hiatus, but we will be back. We're back this week, so fear not.
We promised. Promises.
We promise. Promise.
We'll be back. Stay tuned and stay healthy, and we will be talking about Mamma Mia.
We love you so much. Thank you for watching A View from the Mez, a chat with Broadway babes. I'm Tracy.
And I'm Gina.
And we love you, and we can't wait to see you in a week. Mwah.
Oh,